Welcome back my YouTube channel CoinZF. Before we begin today, take just 1 second and press subscribe. It costs you nothing, but it could change the way you look at money forever. This channel is not about fantasy. It is about history hiding in your pocket. And today you are about to hear a story most people will never believe about a coin so small that it is ignored every day, yet so powerful in history that it has silently shaped the future of one of the world's strongest economies. If you're a man who has lived long enough to understand the value of hard work, struggle, and patience, then stay with me because today's story is not just about a coin. It is about survival, discipline, and the quiet power of Japan. In Japan, there's a tiny aluminum coin so light that it almost feels like nothing when you hold it. Some people have even joked that if you dropped it in water, it might float away. But what most people never ask is why it was created the way it was, and why after all these years, Japan still keeps it alive when many countries have removed such low-value coins for circulation. The Japanese 1 yen coin was not born as loose change. It was born in pain. After World War II, Japan was broken. Cities were crushed, families were starving, factories destroyed, and the proud empire had fallen to its knees. Money had lost meaning for many people. Inflation was high. Trust in currency was low. The nation stood at a crossroads. What would Japan become now? A weak country under influence, or a disciplined nation that would rise again from ashes? It was during these darkest days that Japan decided something quiet but powerful. They would teach their people that no unit of value is too small. Every coin would matter. Every yen would count. And that is when the 1 yen coin became more than metal. It became a message. This coin was not made of silver, not gold, not copper, not even bronze. It was made of aluminum. Light, cheap, simple. Some laughed at it. Foreigners joked about it. Even some Japanese felt it was useless. But deep inside the culture of Japan, this coin became a lesson. The country now famous for technology, speed, and discipline taught its children something simple. Even 1 yen matters. While many nations waste, Japan saves. While many nations chase luxury, Japan values reliability. This coin lives inside that mindset. It was created not to show wealth, but to endure hardship. It did not exist to shine. It existed to survive. Now listen carefully, because this is where the story turns interesting. Every Japanese coin has a soul. On the 1 yen coin, there's a young tree. Not a big one, not a mountain, not a king, a small plant. Many people never notice it, but Japan noticed. They placed a tiny tree on their lowest valued coin purposely. It was symbolic. This was not random. This was the nation whispering its future into metal. A young tree is fragile. It can be destroyed easily. But if you protect it, it grows tall, strong, and impossible to break. Japan was that tree. The coin told a story without words. From nothing, something would grow. From loss, strength would come. Men who lived through war, shortage, and rebuilding understand this better than anyone else. You know what it is like when money is tight, when food is limited, when hope is thin. Japan understood that life is not built on sudden wealth, but slow discipline. Now the Japanese 1 yen coin quietly entered everyday life. People used it to buy tiny things, cheap items, and added it to stacks of other coins. Most forgot about it. But Japan never did. Factories began rebuilding. Workers returned to machines. Trains ran on time. Schools were rebuilt. Discipline became national identity. And as Japan rose from ruins into a technological world power, that 1 yen still existed in pockets. That little aluminum coin lived through everything: political changes, economic growth, crashes, booms, new buildings, new inventions. The 1 yen coin stayed. Countries around the world removed coins lower than 5 or 10 because they were considered worthless. Japan refused. Why? Because Japan knows something powerful. A nation that ignores small value will one day lose big value. The Japanese 1 yen coin survived wars, recessions, modernization, and technology. It is older than many currencies that no longer exist. It is one of the longest surviving everyday coins in modern history that still remains active in a technological superpower nation. Think about that. A small aluminum coin outlived emperors, generals, financial systems, governments, and trends. Now this is where people start paying attention. Within this common coin are variants. Small differences, tiny errors, minute changes in design, year, and mint conditions. Some look exactly identical at first glance. But under close inspection, collectors see details that others never notice. Certain years were minted with different weights. Certain batches were struck slightly off balance. Some have unique marking differences that are unnoticeable without magnification. In the world of collectors, such mistakes are not mistakes. They are miracles. Remember one thing. Rare does not always mean old. Rare means unusual. An error coin is like a fingerprint. Accidental. One of a kind. Impossible to reproduce exactly the same again. Most people spend their lives throwing away small change. Collectors search for it. Some Japanese families preserve old coins the way others preserve war medals. Not because of money alone, but because of history. Each coin tells a story of that year. What Japan was facing, how the economy stood, what people were surviving. Now ask yourself a question. If this coin is so basic, so small, so common, why do some collectors search for it with such passion? Because within the smallest object hides the loudest story. Imagine a man after the war using this coin to buy rice when food was low. Imagine a student using it to buy simple candy in the 1960s when Japan was rebuilding. Imagine a grandmother saving jars of them because even 1 yen may matter tomorrow. These coins passed through millions of hands. They were silent witnesses of life. And history becomes expensive. Coins from destroyed empires sell for millions today. Paper money from dead nations is now priceless. Anything that represents endurance eventually gains value. And that is where collectors look not at what a coin is, but what it represents. Japan represents discipline, recovery, order, peace, loyalty, patience. The 1 yen coin is a symbol of that mental culture. This is why stories of shocking prices surround certain Japanese coins today. People think collectors just love metal. No, collectors love what metal remembers. Now here is something most people never think about. Japan does not redesign its currency randomly. Its choices are intentional. The tree on the 1 yen coin has remained through generations not because they are lazy, but because the message never changed. Growth starts small. Strength starts weak. Stability starts simple. Now slowly, quietly, something else began happening. The world's collector community started noticing Japan's consistency. The survival of small denominations. The ancient values hiding within modern coins. Collectors not only collect age, they collect meaning. And this coin is loaded with meaning. Some collectors believe that in the long future, certain coins from nations that rose from destruction into world power will become highly desired historical artifacts. Think about ancient Rome. Their coins are now museum pieces. Think about Nazi Germany. Their currency became collectibles. Think about Soviet Union. Its money became relics. Japan's story is just as powerful. Destruction, occupation, recovery, superpower. Few nations achieved what Japan did, and the symbols of that journey will one day become history pieces. Now imagine decades from now, when physical money becomes rare, paper money will vanish, coins will vanish, children will ask what these objects were, and collectors who own history will control value. The smallest coins will become the rarest because they were once ignored. That is how history works. Objects nobody values today become legendary tomorrow. Just like old watches, old radios, old records. Time gives value what humans ignore. And now listen carefully. You are watching this channel because you're a non-ordinary man. You are someone who understands that patience builds wealth better than lottery ideas. You know that discipline beats luck. You understand that value is not always shiny. And you understand that stories live longer than money. This coin, light as air, worthless to Shopkeepers, priceless to historians, will one day be spoken of the way ancient coins are spoken of today. Now comes the line many people wait to hear. Not because of fantasy, not because of lies, but because belief shapes markets. Collectors do not move by logic only. They move by emotion. History attracts wealth. Meaning creates value. Symbolism raises prices. And that is why certain Japanese 1 yen coins are whispered among collectors not as metal, but as future artifacts. Not every coin, not common ones, but unique ones, errors, original issues that condition perfect survivors. These become legends. Now you might ask, quietly, can such a small coin ever reach incredible value? History answers you with one word. Yes, because value is not decided by metal. Value is decided by story. And this coin has one of the strongest cultural stories of any currency alive. Now hear this slowly and carefully. Right now, today, this coin buys almost nothing, but history buys everything. Museums pay millions for small ancient objects. Wealthy collectors pay billions for meaning. And once money becomes digital, real history becomes priceless. Japan's 1 yen coin is one of the last physical witnesses of a world that slowly disappears. That is why collectors keep it safe. That is why legends grow. That is why prices whisper upward in certain secret circles. Now, as this video comes to its end, remember this: great things do not always look great. Power does not always look powerful. Value does not always look valuable. And history is often hidden in the smallest places. So tonight, when you look at loose coins, do not laugh at small money. Small money builds big futures. Small coins build strong nations. And small stories become big wealth. And now, as promised, the collector price that many talk about in speculation, rumor, and historical imagination for the rarest, most perfect, most legendary versions of the Japanese 1 yen coin. A value that stuns, a number that shocks, a figure that represents not metal, but history itself. The whispered collector figure, the ultimate value spoken among dreamers and collectors, is said to be $51.01.11.00, and that is not the price of a coin, that is the price of history.